Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Listen to this. People are out here saying Claressa Shields is finished. They're claiming the self-proclaimed GWOT is spiraling, crashing out in real time and potentially torching her entire legacy over a married man. Hold up, the internet is in full chaos mode right now because these rumors aren't just about romance. They're painting a picture of a full-blown meltdown tied to Papoose and the quiet but very real presence of his wife, Remy Ma. Some folks are even calling this the biggest fumble sports have ever seen. Everyone thought they had the whole story about Claressa Shields and Papoose figured out. At first, it looked like your typical celebrity situation. Two adults linking up, moving on, starting something fresh. That was the storyline the blogs kept pushing. But now, new details keep surfacing. Bloggers are digging like detectives on overtime. Remy Ma allegedly stepped in and exposed everything. And girl, the narrative is twisting in ways nobody predicted. What some people framed as a love story is now being labeled career suicide by almost everyone else. And honestly, every time Claressa jumps online to respond, it feels like the situation escalates instead of cools down. So let me break this down, because the receipts people are using to drag her are everywhere. First up, we've got the social media spiral that supposedly sparked this entire firestorm. According to commentary platforms like Mr. Skinny TV, Claressa allegedly went on a full blocking spree. We're talking Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, Facebook, every platform you can name. And then she reportedly fired off a tweet that lit a match under the whole internet. If I've got you blocked on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and Facebook, why are you still making videos and rumors about me? Stalkers. Now, in her mind, that probably felt like a boss move. She likely thought she was silencing the noise, but instead, bloggers came back swinging. Mr. Skinny TV allegedly shot back with, "Quit doing stupid-ass dumbasses like crashing out over a married man." And that one line, it's been clipped, reposted, looped, and turned into the soundtrack for every video dragging her name. Think about it for a second. This is a world-class athlete, a champion, someone who should be locked in on training camps and title defenses, but instead she's allegedly spending energy blocking critics and defending what the internet keeps labeling a situationship with Remy's husband. Now, hold up, because this is where it gets even wilder. Fans online basically turned into full-time investigators. They're not just scrolling her page anymore, they're dissecting every post like it's evidence in court. They claim they've spotted a pattern, and it's not flattering. According to these online detectives, Claressa allegedly crashes out the hardest whenever Papoose is reportedly in New York City. She doesn't know exactly where he is, she's not getting GPS pings, she's not getting consistent updates, and the exact moments he goes silent, that's allegedly when her online meltdowns spike the most. People are saying her biggest emotional posts, her sharpest clapbacks, her blocking sprees, they all align with his absence. Let that sink in for a minute. The narrative they're building suggests she's not in something solid. They're painting it like she's chasing someone who keeps slipping through her fingers. And you won't believe this, the internet is absolutely feasting on every second of it. But hold up, it doesn't end there. Commentators have now dragged in what they're calling the Daniel's leather incident. Listen to this. Allegedly, Papoose or Remy Ma were seen together at Daniel's Leather during the holiday season. Not at different times, together. The store owner reportedly showed up in clips from separate days wearing the same outfit, same background, same everything. And that had people asking, wait, was this actually one visit? A video that allegedly featured Papoose mysteriously disappeared. The employees supposedly said Papoose would step out and clear the air, but that moment never happened. So what are we really looking at here? Bloggers are using this as so-called proof that Papoose is still moving in sync with his wife, that Claressa isn't the main character in this story, and that the relationship we've been seeing might be stitched together with half-truths and PR smoke. And for someone who prides herself on controlling her career, her image, and her narrative, this hits hard because the narrative is no longer in her hands. The internet has screenshots, timestamps, side-by-sides, and theories stacked like case files, and they're not backing down. Now let's talk motive, because this is where the pieces start snapping into place. Claressa Shields isn't just anybody. She's one of the most decorated female boxers the sport has ever seen. 2 Olympic gold medals, multiple world titles, brand deals, and real respect. She earned that through discipline, laser focus, and sacrifice. But the online storyline being pushed is that she's allegedly risking all of it for a man who supposedly doesn't even have his own situation together. Let's pause and really talk about Papoose. The internet has zero chill right now. Remy Ma allegedly made public remarks that bloggers have turned into straight ammunition, and it's ruthless. What's being repeated online is that Papoose allegedly doesn't have a stable place to stay. They're saying he's not working, they're saying he's not covering bills. Blogger Tasha K is being cited as exposing alleged debts connected to him. So the question echoing across timelines is who is lining up for Papoose? And more importantly, why is Claressa Shields, a world champion, allegedly stepping into a sugar mama role for a man the internet paints as broke, unsettled, and dependent? That contrast is different because people are stacking him next to other men: Morris Chestnut, Idris Elba, LL Cool J, Michael B. Jordan. Then they glance back at Papoose and say, "You're risking your empire for this?" This isn't just a mild critique, it's a full-on attack on her judgment and his perceived worth. But here's the deeper issue. This isn't only about claims that Papoose is broken or unstable. It's about the fact that he is still legally married. And that right there is what's doing the most damage to Claressa's image, because nobody has seen finalized divorce papers, no official decree, no clean public break. And commentators are using that silence like a weapon against her. Now they're dragging the Fantasia Baronino situation back into the spotlight. You remember when Fantasia was hit with that alienation of affection lawsuit over a married man. And now bloggers are asking, could Remy Ma pull the same move on Claressa? Could this whole situation spiral into a legal disaster? Every single day without confirmed divorce paperwork is being framed as one step closer to that possibility, and the internet is watching like it's a live countdown. Meanwhile, Claressa is allegedly riding hard for this relationship like everything is on the line. But the harder she defends it, the louder people question her judgment. The more she posts, the more critics say she's handing them fresh ammunition. And every time she blocks someone, they argue she's trying to control a narrative that's already slipping through her fingers. Stack all of that together, and girl, it starts looking like the blueprint for a public unraveling. But here's the part that really hits differently. This isn't only about trophies or headlines. It's not just about reputation either. People are now questioning what this is allegedly doing to her mentally and emotionally. Because if you track the timeline, study the posting patterns, and actually listen to these commentators, they're painting a picture of someone they believe is spiraling. Let's circle back to that blocking spree for a second. Claressa allegedly blocked hundreds, maybe even thousands across multiple platforms. That doesn't read as calm and secure to critics. To them, it looks like someone is trying to mute the noise, because deep down, the noise might be hitting a nerve. Then you've got the emotional captions, the subtweets, the defensive rants. Commentators claim she's allegedly projecting relationship frustrations onto bloggers instead of confronting Papoose with visible red flags, suggesting she knows more than she's admitting, but is choosing to battle critics instead. One blogger summed it up bluntly: "You're mad at the wrong people. They're saying your energy should be aimed at Papoose, not the blogs." And honestly, that statement keeps getting replayed because it lands hard. Because what if there's truth buried in that? What if she sees the warning signs but refuses to walk away? What if she's so publicly invested, so deeply committed in front of the world that leaving now would feel like taking an L? That's the psychological corner commentators claim she's boxed herself into. And they argue it's bigger than ego. They say it's about identity, because Claressa Shields built her brand on strength, discipline, and control. But now the internet narrative is flipping that image into distracted, emotional, and desperate. And that shift from dominant champion to cautionary headline is what critics say is doing the real damage. And there's another layer to this that gets even darker. Some commentary channels are now claiming Claressa is allegedly trying to dress like Remy Ma. Could this whole situation spiral into a legal disaster? Every single day without confirmed divorce paperwork is being framed as one step closer to that possibility, and the internet is watching like it's a live countdown. Meanwhile, Claressa is allegedly riding hard for this relationship like everything is on the line. But the harder she defends it, the louder people question her judgment. The more she posts, the more critics say she's handing them fresh ammunition. And every time she blocks someone, they argue she's trying to control a narrative that's already slipping through her fingers. Stack all of that together and girl, it starts looking like the blueprint for a public unraveling. But here's the part that really hits differently. This isn't only about trophies or headlines. It's not just about reputation either. People are now questioning what this is allegedly doing to her mentally and emotionally. Because if you track the timeline, study the posting patterns, and actually listen to these commentators, they're painting a picture of someone they believe is spiraling. Let's circle back to that blocking spree for a second. Claressa allegedly blocked hundreds, maybe even thousands, across multiple platforms. That doesn't read as calm and secure to critics. To them, it looks like someone is trying to mute the noise, because deep down, the noise might be hitting a nerve. Then you've got the emotional captions, the subtweets, the defensive rants. Commentators claim she's allegedly projecting relationship frustrations onto bloggers instead of confronting Papoose about visible red flags, suggesting she knows more than she's admitting but is choosing to battle critics instead. One blogger summed it up bluntly: "You're mad at the wrong people." They're saying your energy should be aimed at Papoose, not the blogs. And honestly, that statement keeps getting replayed because it lands hard. Because what if there's truth buried in that? What if she sees the warning signs but refuses to walk away? What if she's so publicly invested, so deeply committed in front of the world that leaving now would feel like taking an L? That's the psychological corner commentators claim she's boxed herself into. And they argue it's bigger than ego. They say it's about identity, because Claressa Shields built her brand on strength, discipline, and control. But now the internet narrative is flipping that image into distracted, emotional, and desperate. And that shift from dominant champion to cautionary headline is what critics say is doing the real damage. And there's another layer to this that gets even darker. Some commentary channels are now claiming Claressa is allegedly trying to dress like Remy Ma. They're saying she's attempting to look like the wife, allegedly copying her style, her energy, even her whole aesthetic. Now, whether that's true or not, the fact that it's circulating is damaging, because it's being twisted into this storyline of obsession and rivalry. Not love, not a woman simply in a relationship, but a woman is allegedly trying to morph into the wife she can't replace. And that takes this from messy drama to full-blown identity crisis territory. Again, this is all online opinion and speculation, but it's being packaged like a streaming docuseries, and millions are tuned in. Now, let's get into something else that's been trending across commentary pages. There's a so-called step-by-step timeline breaking down Claressa and Papoose's alleged relationship decline using nothing but social media clips. And listen, it's brutal. Phase 1, the honeymoon kitchen era. At the start, Claressa is posting herself cooking for Papoose. She's glowing, she's proud, she's feeding him on camera. Everything looks solid, everything looks happy. Phase 2, the takeout situation. Then, allegedly, Papoose starts claiming he ate the food, but is actually ordering takeout. Commentators are framing that as a symbolic rejection, like she's investing effort and he's low-key dismissing it. Phase 3, don't film me. Next, Papoose allegedly appears uncomfortable on camera. He's reportedly saying he doesn't want to be recorded. But hold up, these are the same people who signed up for reality TV. So why the sudden camera shyness? Commentators are spinning this as proof he's either hiding the relationship from Remy Ma or embarrassed by it. Phase 4, eating and disappearing. Then, allegedly, he starts eating upstairs, downstairs, in the basement, anywhere except sitting at the table with her. Commentators say that's him distancing himself in plain sight. One viral line floating around says, "Papoose is retracting, Papoose is pulling away, and you don't even see it." To viewers watching this play out, it's being sold as a slow-motion breakup unfolding on camera while she acts like everything is fine. Now, is this all speculation? Yes. But the internet doesn't move on proof. They move onto storylines. And the storyline gaining traction is that Claressa Shields is allegedly in a one-sided relationship with a man who's already emotionally clocked out. And it gets even wilder when you consider that Papoose might not be fully committed at all. At least that's what commentators keep hinting. There are whispers and rumors about other women allegedly entertaining Papoose quietly, women who supposedly know how to stay silent and let Claressa take the public heat. See, they're painting Claressa as the loud one, the dramatic one, the one getting the short end of the stick. Now, let's be clear, this is all alleged, rumor mill territory, but the mere discussion of it is damaging because it fuels this perception that Claressa is allegedly fighting for a man who isn't even fully hers. And the warning commentators keep throwing at her is ruthless. You need to worry about what Papoose does when he's not around you. They've even labeled it the mistress curse narrative. They argue that the mistress never wins in the end. They bring up Fantasia again as a cautionary example. They predict a future for Claressa filled with chaos, drama, stress, paranoia. They insist that even if she ends up with him, she'll forever be looking over her shoulder. It's not being framed as romance. It's being packaged as long-term psychological punishment. And honestly, that framing is harsh. Whether any of this holds weight or not, reputational damage doesn't wait for facts. The internet has already cast Claressa Shields as the villain in her own love saga. And once that label locks in, shaking it off is almost impossible. Now let's talk about what this actually means for her career, because this controversy isn't staying in the relationship lane, it's bleeding into everything. Commentators are literally taunting her with lines like, she's mad because bloggers won't praise her, and nobody cares about her next fight. They even clown the venue, claiming fans only show up for mega events at spots like the MGM Grand, not smaller arenas. Then it turns into a full-blown nickname war, an organized public humiliation campaign where people are openly voting on what to call her next. Papoose's mistress, Papoose's side thing, side dish, Claw Part 2 or Claw 2.0, allegedly tying her to another woman in a similar controversy. Some commenters admit they're still testing which insult will stick, like her identity is a community project built on disrespect. And if any of those labels latch on, they could drown out everything she's accomplished inside the ring. Think about that. Claressa Shields has spent her entire life fighting to be crowned the greatest woman of all time in boxing. But now, when people type her name into a search bar, they're not seeing knockout highlights. They're seeing a scandal, drama, allegations. That shift from elite athlete to tabloid headline is what critics say is chipping away at her legacy. Because once you lose control of your story and the internet defines you first, changing that perception becomes nearly impossible. And here's the harshest part. Commentators keep insisting she did this to herself. They argue she willingly put this situationship on display. They say she kept fueling the flames with posts, blocks, and late-night rants. They claim the genie is out of the bottle and there's no stuffing it back in. Sympathy? They've stripped it away. They're not framing her as a victim, they're painting her as the architect of her own downfall. And that's the storyline gaining traction. Then there's the looming shadow everybody keeps whispering about, Remy Ma. Commentators constantly warn Claressa about how calculated Remy can allegedly be. They suggest Remy could seriously disrupt her world. They hint that one bold move, especially an alienation of affection lawsuit, could tie her up in courtrooms and headlines for years. They keep repeating the same chilling question. Where is the divorce decree? Where are the finalized papers? And as long as that question hangs unanswered, they argue Claressa remains in a legal and public danger zone. Because if Remy Ma decides to go nuclear, this could escalate far beyond social media chatter. We're talking lawsuits, legal bills, public court battles. And Claressa's name, brand, and legacy are potentially dragged through mud she can't control. That's the fear commentators are planting. And whether it's fair or not, the suspense feels real because Remy hasn't made a visible move. But if she does, the internet is ready with popcorn. So here's where things stand. Claressa Shields, one of the greatest female boxers ever, is allegedly putting everything on the line for a man who is still married, reportedly struggling financially, and allegedly still appearing beside his wife. The internet has reshaped her into a cautionary tale, a meme, a punchline.
And the more she pushes back, the more the backlash seems to intensify, because the narrative isn't hers anymore. The screenshots exist, the timelines are mapped out, the theories are multiplying. Even if she logged off today, this story has enough momentum to dominate headlines for months. So now I'm asking you, is Claressa Shields truly making a mistake here, or is the internet going way too far? Is Papoose juggling both sides, or are we all watching speculation spiral out of control? And do you think Remy Ma is about to make her move? If you made it this far, you already know. Drop your thoughts below, and make sure you subscribe.